and welcome to Zero Pucks Given, the ice hockey podcast for Chelmsford Chieftains fans. This is episode 9 and of course it is jam-packed for you. We've got a breakdown of this weekend's game just gone, as we once again summoned the Devils to the Riverside. We've also got the coach's thoughts, the return of Hit of the Week, a drop-in on the academy results. We've also got a Warriors match report from Harriet Andrews as the Haringey Huskies visited the Riverside on Saturday night. And we've got a couple of signings to announce as well, both returnees to the Chieftains. Ethan Reid has rejoined from Raiders in the National League, and forward Matty Turner has dipped his stick back into the hockey pool after retiring in April 2022. Matty is back mainly as injury cover though. We've added another player to the injury roster this weekend, but we did see the return of Ross Clark to the ice, so that's good news as well. We've got a couple of guests in this episode as well. We'll be talking to young Chieftain and Warrior number 74, Chris Beckett. And I'll also be talking to Chieftains legend, former captain, 26, Julian Smith, to see how he's getting on with life after hockey. But we will start with the game last night, Chieftains versus Devils. The crowd at the Riverside built slowly as of course England's football team were in World Cup action, but after a slow influx at the start it ended up being quite a good attendance. Also welcoming quite a few players and coaches from Chelmsford Hockey Club as their young players came to witness their sport played on ice. The first period started with the Chieftains pushing the Devils back into their own defensive zone, the home side intent on not allowing history to repeat itself. And after 6 minutes 15, TJ Fillery took a penalty for high sticks, and Solent, for the first time in the game, applied the pressure. It was cut short when Mark Pitts took 2 for slashing on 7 minutes 10, and for a minute we had 4-on-4. Luka was keeping nets after his performance for the Warriors last night, which also meant Sasha Maltsev was getting plenty of ice time, and there was definitely evidence that the lines may well be very close to what we've all been waiting for. Despite plenty of first period pressure, the buzzer sounded at 0-0. Into the second, and the tension was palpable between the teams, but it was the Chieftains that had the initiative, and on 24-10, good work from TJ Fillery fed Dan Hitchings, and his rocket shot was tipped in by Kieran Rayner, and the Chiefs had their deserved lead. Solent dug in, desperate not to get caught cold, and 2 minutes later Grant Bartlett dented the pipes with a howitzer from just inside the blue line. But with seconds to go in the second, Alex Murray intercepted a loose defensive pass and finished with a top shelf pass Luca Tessadri for 1-1 at 39:07. Into the third, and again it was Chieftains applying the pressure, but Chico Cole was having an inspired evening and plenty of bodies were being put on the line. Same said for the Chieftains, with Luca Tessadri, Neil Lydiard, Dan Fay, Dan Hitchens and the return in Ethan Reid putting in stellar defensive performances. However, madness ensued after Rayner was given 2 from what we heard for kneeing at 42-42. And on the power play, as the Devils were pressing the Chiefs' goal, Luca Tessadri's left skate through its blade, leaving the young netminder helplessly flailing on the floor, and the bench shouting to the refs to make them aware that our goalie was out of commission. But a shot from Drew Campbell deflected off of Liam Coleman and rolled in, giving the Devils the lead on 44-24. The Devils finished the game on the penalty kill and the Chiefs with an empty net trying to force overtime, but it wasn't to be, and Solent made it 3-3 against the Chieftains this season. Final chance for revenge against the Devils is at Planet Ice Gosport on January the 28th. I think the lads were very unlucky in their performance. Performance warranted more, and the 2 goals conceded were the only defensive error and a total freak occurrence. So, rather unlucky there. So let's get Mark Saunders' thoughts on the game this weekend.
Yeah, just to go over last night's game, really. Obviously a single game weekend. Welcome Solent back into the rink. Obviously a bit of a quieter one last night with the football going on, I expect. But, you know, the fans that were there were obviously right there with us and right behind us. You know, so we knew that we had to put performance in. We knew that this team is a well-structured team. They perform well with with the structure and the kind of strict rigidity that they have to their play. So, we knew what to expect. But the big thing for us last night was that we got back to a good start. So over the last couple of weeks, we've kind of got away from our steady starts, and obviously there's that recent game against Streatham where we go 3-0 down inside the first few minutes, and there was obviously the Solent game a couple of weeks ago. We did exactly the same thing. So that was very much our kind of our opening kind of thoughts for last night, was to start right and steady the ship, and we did that really, really well. I was really pleased with how we started. It was a bit of a cagey kind of to and fro first period. Obviously finished at 0-0. I thought both goalies started to feel their way into the game, and when you've got two good goalies like that, that's obviously a good thing for us. But we know that we need to do a little bit more and adapt and change maybe to get around Chico down the other end, who is is consistently a very, very good goalie. Obviously, Luca was really, really steady back there again. His form of late has just been outstanding. So, props to Luca for, the way he's just dialed in at the moment. One of the best talents in the country for sure. And the way he's playing at the moment is just outstanding. So for him to consistently put in his performances week in, week out right now is really, really good for us to see. And obviously the boys feed off that. And it gives us a chance to push back, right? So obviously we go one up, and we're pleased with the way we're going. And again, like it was 5 minutes into the second, we go one up. And for the next kind of 10, 12 minutes or so, again, like it's a little bit cagey. It's backwards and forwards. But we were in control. I felt like we controlled the play very well. But again, there's that dagger shot, 50 seconds before the end of the second, and we go in 1-1. And all of a sudden, kind of all that kind of hard work you've done is neutralised. But, that is what it is. Like I said, they're a strict team, they're a structured team, and they'll find chances and they will get chances. And obviously they capitalised on one there. And then in the middle of the third period, a goal that I've never seen before, don't think I'll ever see again. Obviously, they get the chance on the power play there. There was a couple of power plays each way, and we weren't really kind of doing enough to get round Chico, but that is what it is. With some obviously changes to the lineup last night, new guys in, new guys out, and picked up more injuries last night. So there's another 4 injuries to go on injury list, which is tough to take. But yeah, when we're struggling for some consistency in lines and keeping guys healthy and fit, sometimes special teams do slide a little bit. I thought we looked good on the special teams. We just didn't have that kind of killer instinct. And then obviously they get their power play. I think it was about probably 5-6 minutes into the third, and like I said, that I've never seen a goal like it. I don't think that happens again in another 100 games, either for or against us. Obviously Luca loses his skate blade and can't push left to right, and then the shot comes in and hits the defenseman in the chest and literally rolls down his shirt and literally just drops in the net. And you're kind of thinking, what have we got to do to get a bounce here? And ultimately that was a game-winning goal. And obviously, Peter had to come in relief with Luca with the broken skate. I thought he was good when he came in. That's a tough situation to come into, but that's the steadiness that he brings. And the boys did well. We pushed, and kind of 4 minutes in, we kind of just threw everything that we had, and just couldn't find a way past. So, frustrating again, to be in control of a game and to be 2-1 down and feel like you're in control. We just felt like just 1 or 2 bounces would have really helped us through, but we didn't get them. Sometimes that's what happens, and sometimes you play really, really well and lose, and I think that's what happened last night. So we need to get back to work. We've obviously got 4 more games up until Christmas. 2 double-header weekends coming up here, and we need to work. We need to get guys healthy and get guys back. So we'll see where we are during the week here, and we'll be ready to go next weekend. But yeah, hopefully, looking forward to seeing a lot of you come to Streatham, and a lot of you for obviously the Essex derby at home on Sunday, which we're really looking forward to getting into. So yeah, tough one last night. I think we played really well, but obviously it's tough to come out on the underside of a scoreline 2-1 there. But close game. We had a really good start. I thought we controlled throughout, but just didn't have that killer instinct. But we'll work on that, and we'll go again next week. We'll see how we are. But I thought we were good last night.
Thank you very much to Mark Saunders for his thoughts there on Sunday's game. I spoke to Luca Tissaggio this morning as well. There was no injury really with what happened. He just threw the blade off his skate, went down. Obviously, the time getting him off the ice was trying to get his skate off with all the pads on and everything. And then checks come in and replaced him. So no injury for Luca. As he said to me, he's just got to ask Santa for an early Christmas present in a replacement set of skates. So now we're going to get the Warriors match report with Harriet Andrews.
This is the match report for the Chelmsford Warriors against the Haringey Huskies game on Saturday the 3rd of December 2022. I only started to take notes for the second period, but the first one was an equally great, well-played game with 2 Warriors goals scored by Tom Cook at 2 minutes 23 and Sam Austin at 17:34. With very few penalties for either team and the Warriors ending the first with a 2-0 lead. It meant that we went into the second with great high energy and really going for it. However, at the end of the first, both teams had a man go down for roughing. I didn't quite catch who they were for, but it meant that we started the second with both teams on a 2-minute penalty. Luca faced a lot of shots in this period, especially during the power plays, but with also Josh Fall and Chris Beckett for the Warriors taking a lot of shots at the net, but all unfortunately being saved by Clark. With about 6 minutes into the second period, number 8 Taylor for the Huskies went down holding his head. From what I saw, it was a clean hit between him and the Warriors' Sean Wallace. However, the refs spoke to the Huskies bench after Taylor was down for a while and called a check to the head, giving Wallace a 5-minute penalty. Again, the Warriors having played most of this second period short-handed so far, and with 2:54 left of the Huskies' power play, Lucas saved a shot from Hepburn, which then sort of bounced back into the net behind him, taking the score to 2-1. And then at 12 minutes, the Warriors' number 66, Sam Austin, got a 2-minute penalty for interference. Again, I didn't really see it, but the ref called it. And then with 9 minutes left of the second, the number 23, Woodford for the Huskies, took a shot into the corner of the net around Luca with an equal goal, taking it to 2-2. Again, the pressure from the Huskies continued and were definitely a force, with number 5 Roberts scoring into the top corner of the net with just 40 seconds of the period to go. It was a great set-out by the passing between the players, creating a lot of space. At the end of the second, it was 2 to the Warriors and 3 for the Huskies after a very high-paced, feisty period. The third period felt like it was initially a lot at Luca's end for the first sort of 5 or 6 minutes, meaning obviously Tassardri faced a lot of shots straight off in the third period. Again, a lot of hits and action in the third. From memory, though, there was no actual penalties for this period, but definitely some calls that other refs would have made. A shot by Beckett met with about 6 left into the corner of the net and stopped by Clark's pad was awesome, with Beckett continuing to make many shots throughout the game. Again, with 3 minutes left of the third, Beckett took a slap shot from the end face-off circle, which went straight past Clark, blocker side. A cracking goal assisted by Wallace and Ho, taking it to 3-3. This energy from both teams continued for the rest of the third. However, unfortunately, with just 47 seconds left of the game, a Husky shoots straight from close to the net and straight into the corner, making the final score 3-4. It was a tough game with a lot of physicality but very few penalties, and the Warriors weren't outplayed at all, just unlucky with that last-minute Haringey goal. Luca got man of the match for the game after facing 72 shots and making some incredible saves. It was definitely very well deserved, and his abilities and talents really shone through in that game.
Thank you to Harriet Andrews for the match report on the Warriors' defeat to the Haringey Huskies there. Results elsewhere in the NIHL 1 this weekend. On the Saturday, Solent Devils hosted Streatham Redhawks. Another close game between those two, Streatham taking a 3-2 victory back to the high road with them. On Sunday, Streatham completed a 4-point weekend, beating Raiders 11-3. And on that Sunday, Oxford City Stars also beat Milton Keynes Thunder by 4-3. In the academy, the under-12 mini Chieftains got a 4-0 victory over Haringey. The under-16s Tomahawks got a 4-2 victory over Haringey. And the under-10s sent 2 teams up to Cambridge who both performed superbly on the day, doing well for the young setup there. The fixtures coming up next week then are Streatham away on Saturday at the High Road. There is a coach running from the Riverside. That's £15 per head for the travel there and back. So please email hello@chelmsfordchieftains.com to book your place on the coach. And on Sunday, it is the Essex Derby. We need to turn Essex black and gold again after the defeat at the Sapphire in October, as Raiders Junior are coming to the Riverside on Sunday. So let's try and pack the crowd out for that. And now it's time for Hit of the Week. Hit of the week this week then, and a lot to choose from. There was a great one from Dan Hutchins in the first as he put a big hit on number 61 for Solent. There was one late in the second, I think, as Cam Bartlett stuck one on Mason Wild down in the corner. That was a good one. But this week it's going to go to one of our returning players in the end of the second period, Matty Turner, with a massive hit on Alex Murray in the middle of the ice that got a massive roar from the crowd because everyone likes to see Alex Murray go down. So hit of the week this week, Matty Turner. Now we're going to have a chat with Chieftains and Warriors starlet Chris Beckett.
Chieftains.
Warriors.
Number 74.
Chris Beckett, how we doing, fella?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. How are you?
Yes, mate, really well, really well. Thanks for coming on and joining me tonight.
No worries, mate.
So you're still, incredibly young to be playing, competitive hockey at the level that you're playing, and you must have played an enormous amount of hockey already. So when did you start, and was it ever a choice for another sport in your life, or was it just hockey?
Yeah, no, my dad always played, so he got me into it from a young age. I started off when I was about 6, and it's just always been that since, I suppose.
And that's been at Chelmsford throughout, is it?
Well, I actually started at Romford when I was 6 because my dad took me down there because Erskine Douglas was coaching down there, and I moved to Romford. I moved to Chelmsford when I was 7 because of training days. So,
and that just made more sense to you.
Yeah.
So
and my dad wanted me at Chelmsford as well. So,
yeah, is your dad one of the coaches at Chelmsford?
Yeah, he coaches the under-18s and the Warriors this year. Obviously, he did a bit with the Chiefs last year as well when he took over. But
yeah, he did stand in for the end of the season there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Obviously, playing in 2 different squads, does that make a difference to you when you're training? Is there more of a bond that you have with any particular players that you play both with?
No, I mean there isn't anyone across either teams that I don't get on with. Do you know what I mean? Like we're all very close with my teammates. Training, I train Chiefs Thursday and Warriors Wednesday, and there's nothing. We all get on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but no one you have a sort of particular sort of telekinetic connection with.
Well, in the Chiefs, me and Luke get on well. I've played with him since under 11s, and he's a laugh in the room. Ethan's just come back. Ethan Reid, he's someone I get on well with, and he's only a couple of years older than me, but he's still someone I can look up to and learn from, I suppose.
He's littered with good lads, to be fair.
Yeah, of course. And then even the older boys, like that, quite a bit older than me, but I still look up to them. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but is there them lads that are in there, them older lads, especially the more experienced ones? Is that vital for a young player like yourself coming up to have that there?
Yeah, players like Lids and Jib and Righty, like they're players that my dad used to play with and against. So they're full of experience, and they're boys that you look at and you definitely learn from. And they're good to have in the team as well. You need that, obviously.
Yeah. Now, your elite prospects has got you listed as a forward. Would you say that's definitely your role?
Yeah, forward.
Yeah, I do like scoring the goals.
Yeah, well, when I can.
Yeah, I do remember one. I think it was from last season down at Bristol. I think you went coast to coast and did about 4 players and stuck it in.
I remember. Yeah. I surprised myself with that one. I'll be honest.
Yeah, that one does stick in my mind. Actually, it was one of the best goals I saw last season.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember the celebration on that one or not.
No. Was there a good celly on that? Was there?
No, I threw myself through the wall and almost killed myself. But yeah, I got a bit of stick for that, but it was a good goal, so it was worth it.
Yeah, well, the board's not as sturdy at Bristol as they are at Chelmsford.
Yeah, that must be it.
Fantastic. So you wear for both teams. You wear number 74. Is there a special reason behind that number?
Well, my dad always wore 7. Well, he started off actually, like in the juniors, he wore number 7, and then when he got into the senior teams, I think 7 was taken, so he took 74. That's why my brother wears 7 and I wear 74. And it's just always been that way, I suppose.
Oh, no, that's quite nice. It must be your dad must feel immense pride actually seeing both his lads playing the sport that he played.
Yeah, he does. He loves it as well.
Oh, so was it always obviously coming through Romford and then into the Chelmsford Academy? Was it this level you were aiming at, or you're still a young lad? Are you looking at maybe national, elite league, or perhaps even other countries?
Well, obviously being like the youngest forward on the team, my role in the Chiefs is just to obviously do what I can for the team when I can, but ultimately it's for my development, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
it'd be good to see how far I can go in the future, but at the minute I'm just working on myself as a player, and when I get a chance in the Warriors, going out and trying to put points up. So, I mean, obviously trying to put points in the Chiefs as well, but in the Warriors and obviously the under 18s, that's kind of more my role is to score the goals. So
yeah. So because as you said, that is kind of more where you're at the moment, but you're developing into the higher level of senior.
Yeah. So if it depends, it's see where it takes me, but at the minute I'm just trying to be the best player I can and see how far it takes me.
Is there a difference in physicality between the NIHL 2 and the 1?
It's a lot quicker, so you have to have your head up in when I'm playing for the Chiefs. Like if there's always someone on you a lot quicker in the Chiefs than in the Warriors. In terms of getting hit, not really, other than obviously it's just a bit quicker, so you don't really have as much time on the park when you're playing for the Chieftains.
No, I mean a few of your teammates have remarked to me on your strength, or is it a therefore lack of? Are they winding you up?
No, it's because I'm a pretty big boy. I think that's what it must be.
Do you like it? Do you like hitting the weights there?
No. They're winding me up. I get a lot of that.
But to be fair, for what is, respectfully, you're a very slight young fella. You are incredibly strong on your edges and on the skates, and there's not many people that get the better of you.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Say that.
Well, I've remarked on other episodes of this podcast as well. Obviously, you young lads coming through the academy and up into the first team, that I mean, particularly your stick handling and how you handle the puck you're very difficult to dispossess. So
yeah, it's something I work on a lot. Shooting puck, stick handling. I'm training 3-4 nights a week. So
yeah, it's an awful lot of hockey, and I take it it's not taking a toll on your body just yet, being so young.
No, not just yet.
Hopefully that won't come for a good sort of 10, 14 years yet.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
So I've got a couple of questions from the listeners, if that's all right, mate, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course.
We've got Harriet Andrews wants to know, do you have a preference of playing with the Warriors or the Chieftains, be it for the the speed, physicality, or for the challenge playing up higher?
Well, of course, I want to play the highest level of hockey I can. Like, that's obviously what you want to do. Like, it's great going out, like being with the Warriors and getting more ice time, and the group's good. But the same with the Chiefs, the group the group's good, but I'm trying to play the best level of hockey that I can, obviously. So
yeah,
if I have the choice, I have to play for the Chieftains, obviously.
Yeah, I think most sport athletes will thrive under the pressure of playing at a high level, won't they? So it's definitely in your ambition, I can see. I've got a question here from your captain at the Chieftains.
Go on.
Mr. Callum Burnett. And I have lightened this up ever so slightly. We've got a snog, marry, avoid for you.
Oh, go on.
So we've got Princess Fiona from Shrek as an ogre, Miss Piggy, and Boris Johnson.
Well, wait, who's the first one?
Princess Fiona from Shrek, but as an ogre.
Yeah, I think I'll have to avoid that one. Oh wait, no. No.
Have you forgotten the last one?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, wait. No, I'm marrying Miss Piggy.
Yeah,
and I'm avoiding Boris.
I think that's a really good shout, mate. Really good shout.
Last one, Cal.
Right, we got another question from Cal as well. He's obviously bored sitting at home with his boot on. Yeah, he'd like to know, if you were an animal, what animal would you be? Because he would love you to be a honey badger.
If I was an animal, I don't know. My dog lives quite a good life, I think. So
yeah,
I wouldn't mind being him.
Yeah, I think my dog lives quite a good life, and there's definitely something they've got sorted there. Lovely. And to continue the slight madness, we've got one from Kieran Rayner.
Yeah.
How many sunbeds a week do you have? Because you're very tanned.
So a couple of the boys on that team love a sunbed, but it's not for me. So.
Yeah, no, not with the glare coming off the ice. It's not good, I think, to be tanned and shiny.
No, bad for the skin.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you. Now, the rest of the ones from your teammates aren't. I don't personally think are clean enough for this. So we've discussed this. Once we're done recording, we're going to jump on Instagram Live and we'll post that on the social media, and we'll have the fun questions on there so that we don't cause any offence or damage the ears of any children.
All right, mate. No worries.
Have you had any international call-ups since playing hockey?
I made the England under. I can't remember. It was the year we went into lockdown. I made that England team. I was due to go to Finland, but obviously COVID stopped it.
Yeah.
When was it? Last season. I made the South England team, and we went and played up in Dumfries in a tournament with South, North, and Scotland. That was good fun. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I've obviously trialled all the way through, but not always been successful. But conferences, I've played every other year.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's pretty much it.
Fantastic stuff. Will you be involved in the under-18 trials, or are you too old for that now?
What, this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I haven't been invited back to that, but it's the way it is.
So it's probably quite difficult, isn't it? Because obviously some of the lads will be playing at that NIHL 1 and league level, and obviously you're getting most of your ice time in the 2. So I can imagine that is difficult. And obviously there's more skaters than there is netminders as well. So
it's a learning curve. So.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And I think all the abilities there for you, mate. So I don't doubt that in the future that definitely be coming your way.
Cheers, mate.
No worries. Have you got a favourite rink that you like playing
at? Honestly, playing at Riverside, nothing beats it. The atmosphere and the fans, like, obviously got some of the best atmosphere in the league, like, in my opinion. And I think quite a lot of players would say the same thing. Other than Chelmsford, playing at MK is good. Nice big ice.
Yeah, it's a huge pad up there, isn't
it? Yeah. Just anywhere but Invicta and Solent, to be honest.
Yeah, the more old school ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I discussed with it was with Kieran last week that them teams they know their own rink and their own surface so well.
That's what's difficult. Obviously, if you're training, like especially for Solent, if you're training on that small ice pad, playing on it every week, it's obviously a hard. Solent's one of the hardest places to go to and try and get 2 points.
Yeah, and to be fair, this year they've made themselves incredibly hard to beat.
Yeah, I thought we were unlucky on the weekend, to be honest.
I'm inclined to agree, mate. Actually, I think that probably across the course of the whole 60 minutes, Chieftains were much the better team.
I thought we deserved the win, to be honest. It's gutting when like Luca loses the escape, like we let a bit of a soft one in and they go 2-1 down. That's all there was to it, really. But I thought we were unlucky, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's the change that Solent have made, though, is that once they went 2-1 up, they were incredibly hard to break down.
Yeah,
I think in previous years they'd have succumbed to the pressure. But I think it was last season. I think it was actually February time. We went down to Gosport. I think we beat them 9-0 down there.
I remember that. Sonny Phillips stood on his head, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he got 56 shots shut out. I think it was on the night. It was we won 9-0, but they outshot us on the night. It was incredible.
Yeah, Sonny was unreal. I think it'd have been Cameron because I don't think Grant was playing at the time. Him and Stano were both scoring goals all over the place. So
they were, yeah. I think Grant was out injured, wasn't he? So I think to my memory, I think Cam and Stano both got hat tricks that night.
Yeah, so that last season stood out as like a big win for us, obviously.
Yeah, so put in the push to sort of finish as high as we could for the playoffs.
It was a bit of a turning point as well, that game, because form hadn't been brilliant a couple of weeks prior to that game, and then I think we won that, and then after that we only lost, I think maybe 1 or 2 games going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think that was to Streatham. I think it was the only defeat that we took.
Yeah,
leading up to that. So that was how was that for you playing in the playoff finals last year?
Yeah, that was something different. It was obviously it's a tense big game, isn't it? And we go 1 up and then we go 2 up, and it was gutting, obviously, because we were close and I thought we had the game. Well,
yeah, I'll be discussing it later as well with Jules Smith. That was obviously his last game for Chieftains, and he made a score in it as well. But it was an incredible weekend, and I think we come away incredibly unlucky not to win it. But I think Streatham were pretty unstoppable last year.
Well, that's the thing. You still can't, like, we still looked at that as like a fairly successful weekend. I still think the boys played really well that weekend, and Streatham were just too good, I suppose.
Yeah. But you got to win Saturday with the Warriors this week. Oh, no, you didn't. I'll tell a lie.
We did.
You lost 4-3 quite late on, didn't you?
Yeah, that was pretty good as well, to be honest. We went 2 up, didn't we? And then second period on the kill. We were on the kill for quite a lot of the second period, which did us no favours. And then we're going into the third, 3-2, I think it was. And we tied it up with a couple of minutes left to 3-0. And that was supposed to be a big moment, and then 2 minutes later they stuck one in the back of the net with a minute left. So
they're doing quite well up the top of that league, though, aren't they, Haringey Huskies?
Well, that's the thing that just goes. That Warriors team. I don't think there's anyone in the league that, as a team, we can't beat on our day.
No.
Luca was unreal as well, though, to be honest. And when the Warriors can get hold of Luca, he's a game changer. Yeah,
it certainly does make a difference having netminders of that quality. They can win you a game on their own, really, can't they? It's do you think there should be perhaps a slight restructuring of the leagues next season? Obviously, the NIHL 1 only has the 8 teams in, and 2 has 13. Is there any of them teams that you've played in the 2 that you think could hack it in the 1?
Honestly, probably not. I don't think last season Guildford stood out. They were very good. And I think out of all teams, maybe last season's Guildford team could have played in NHL 1. Other than that, Haringey maybe, Bristol 2 maybe, but other than that, I think anyone else would struggle. To be honest.
Was it did that Guildford team win the treble, or was that the year before COVID?
No, so that was last season. Petter was on that team actually.
He was,
and they won everything: the cup, the league, and the playoffs.
Yeah. And as we just said, a good netminder can win games on his own, and that certainly seems to make a difference for them.
Yeah. But as well, they had players who I think they've lost quite a few players now that are playing in NHL1 who obviously were tearing it up in the Warriors League.
Yeah, I think a couple of them gone to Oxford, haven't they? And I think there's
all over the place
as well.
Yeah.
But there's I mean it would be nice to even the leagues up slightly just to get a more even calendar.
Yeah, no, of course.
And I think some of the guys in Bristol too were actually in Bristol 1 last year and didn't go up to the national.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah. So they could well hag it. But so like I say, just to even the calendar out would be quite nice because it's obviously all right for you playing for both teams. You're probably getting a lot of hockey, but there's been sort of weekends off, wasn't there, in the first league?
Yeah, I think actually I haven't had a weekend off since the start of the season.
Yeah.
But
you're begging for one now.
Yeah, well, Christmas is only around the corner now, isn't it? So.
Yeah, you'll get a little bit of time off there.
Yeah.
But not too much of the food, I suppose, to keep yourself.
No, of course.
Fit. Lovely, mate. Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining me on Zero Putts Given. Really, really appreciate it.
It's all right, mate. No worries.
Thanks to Chris for joining me there. Good young lad. Obviously knows how to take all the fun in the change room as well. And wish him all the best for the rest of the season. Now we have a very special guest that I teased earlier this week. The last season's captain who retired in April. We're going to have a chat with Julian Smith.
Chieftains, number 26.
Ooh, la 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 la. Ooh, la 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 la. Ooh, la 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 la. El Capitan. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. El Capitan. Jules Smith, how are we doing?
Hi, how are you? I'm very well, thanks. You okay?
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, mate. Thank you for coming on.
No, that's fine. No worries.
Lovely. So, are you enjoying your life post hockey?
I am. I've got to be honest. I am. It's really different. Like when you've spent, I'm trying to think of how many years I've been playing for. I started when I was 10, so it's like 30, 26 years of playing hockey. Then to kind of stop is a bit of a shock to the system in many ways, and the routines you've developed over all those years of playing senior hockey, you've kind of given up your weekends for things. Was tough, but then getting that time back has been good, especially. So last year, my wife and I, we had a little boy, Jackson. So it was that last year was tough, kind of doing the travelling and not having as much time to be at home with him. So yeah, that the time that it's given me back, especially at the weekends, it's been good. But yeah, it's definitely been a shock to the system. Kind of getting to like lunchtime and going, well, I should be doing something right now, and then realizing, oh yeah, it's meant to be hockey. Yeah, I mean, I think part of me thinks, like when I look back at it, I think that obviously the 2 COVID years kind of almost pre-set me up for it, because obviously we had a long time out of hockey then.
Yeah.
So I think had that not happened, I think I'd have probably suffered way worse. And probably come back by now. But yeah, the 2 years off of hockey with COVID kind of warmed us up for stepping away from it.
So was your retirement that long in the planning, or was it sort of physical and obviously family getting into that final couple of years?
Yeah, no, I hadn't really been thinking about it that much. With the 2 COVID years, I was kind of a bit annoyed because on my age, I was 30. What was I? 34, potentially 33 at the time when that hit. So I was kind of coming towards the end of it anyway in terms of what my body could probably give. So I was really frustrated that those, like the end of one of the years and then the entire year of the second year of it was taken away. And then, we had the little boy, and that final year was just really tough. I started a new job as well. So I did the most 4 stressful things you could do in one go. Started a new job. We moved house. We had a baby. And there was something else as well.
You got married as well, didn't you?
Yeah, that was it. We got married. Gosh, as if I forgot that one.
Do you want me to edit that bit out?
yeah, if you could, that would be great. But yeah, we got married as well, and that was a COVID wedding. So we only had 15 people, so it wasn't as stressful as like some weddings, because we couldn't obviously have as many people, and there was no kind of after bit. So, but yeah, it was a combination really of the new job that I started and the amount of time that I was having to put into that. So I was a vice principal anyway, and then I moved to a school closer to home in Northampton, and became a vice principal there. But it was definitely a step up in terms of the expectations that were on me and stuff. So I was working pretty late hours every night, and then on a Thursday I'd kind of drive down to where I'd meet Munsey and Rayner and do a bit of work in McDonald's while I was having a coffee before they picked us up, and then I'd sit in the back of the car and do some work as well while we were travelling down. So that was pretty intense, trying to juggle my work life and hockey and then family. And then with my little boy that came along, it would just become tough at the weekends, like leaving him at the weekend. You kind of, it's little things like they were going off to do soft play or something like that, where you were missing out on things like that. So it was a combination of that and then the travelling as well. Obviously, I'm not a local boy to Chelmsford, so it was quite a journey. And yeah, I just kind of, it became difficult to do the travelling. I'd done the travelling for like 13, 14 years, and it just became a bit of an issue where it was kind of outweighed the fun element of it and what hockey was bringing me.
Yeah, I mean, it's, with what I've spoken with the other lads about, the level of commitment, obviously, with the travelling, and because you're not the only one that does live that further away. It's a surprising amount if you look through even the current roster that have to travel inordinate distances just for home games and training. It kind of makes it a young man's game, really, doesn't it? Rather than with the proper job and the kids and stuff like that, it makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah, it was definitely difficult because if you're a local boy to Chelmsford, you could leave your house at I don't know, say 2:00, maybe even 2:30 to get down to the rink, even probably later than that for a home game. Whereas we were leaving like 1:00, something like that, to make up for the 2 hours of travel time. And like for me, I was lucky to have the guys to travel with. Like throughout my entire time, there's only been 1 year where I had to travel on my own, and that was pretty tough. But yeah, I would always travel to kind of Brampton Hut on the A1 to meet whoever it was I was travelling with. Apart from 1 year when I was playing with Clarkey, I travelled down to Milton Keynes at Junction 14 and meet him there. But so I was always lucky to have people to travel with because you become a little team within a team almost, which is always pretty good fun being on the road with the boys. So that definitely helped. But yeah, it just become a bit too much of a draining task, especially like a Thursday night training. We'd get off the ice at midnight and then you're trying to leave by 20 past maybe once you showered and stuff. And I used to get home at kind of 2:15 and then be up at like 5:30 to walk the dog before going off to work. So it was just, it got too much for me really, which is sad because wasn't the way I thought that I'd stop playing because of the travelling being too much. But I think it was the right call to make at the time.
Yeah, Kieran Rayner did actually mention, I spoke to him last week, with regards to travelling, that your sense of direction isn't particularly great.
Yeah, look, I've had it out with him about that. I texted him straight after. I don't know where he's got that from, and I said I'm going to get my own back on him in this podcast, but I think he's got me confused with Munsey on that.
So you're not a geography teacher, are you? That would go incredibly bad.
Absolutely not. No, definitely not. But I can't remember any times where I've got lost. But yeah, that would always be Munsey. Munsey was terrible for directions and just his concentration. Can't do two things at once. But yeah, I said to Rayner afterwards, definitely got me confused with Munsey on that one.
Yeah. So your final match for Chelmsford was the playoff final at Planet Ice Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
And obviously an eventual loss despite leading 2-0. But you actually managed to score in your final game, tipping in from Karenko's shot. How did that feel?
Yeah, it was good. It was a nice way to finish it. I got man of the match that game as well. I think it was just that one last little bit of actually winning the game would have been amazing. Like my wife and my little boys, my two lads were there, so I've got an older son as well. They were both there, so it would have been kind of the icing on the cake to see it all out having won. But even regardless of not winning the actual trophy, like it was a nice way to end it all. I managed to tip the goal in, which was good. Bit of a shock. Like obviously goal scoring is not my forte, but it's always good in those kind of big games to get yourself on the score line to help the team out.
Yeah, it was a fantastic weekend. I think just winning the trophy would have been the absolute cherry on the cake for you that weekend, and the five of you that did retire that day.
Yeah, no, we made hard work of it, though, didn't we? Like, especially in the Bristol game. Like, we've seen the third period, we've been quite comfortable, and then all of a sudden, it was classic Chelmsford. We used to always do that, like just switch off in the third, and the team would come back, and we'd have to then battle our way back out of it. So it was probably harder than on the Saturday than it probably should have been, and we were obviously depleted a few guys, like at the back, especially with Munsey not being there for injury, and then I think on the Sunday, who obviously started off strong, but against a team like Streatham, with all the depth they've got, they're relentless, aren't they? So they just kept coming at us, and I think by the time that 10 minutes into the third period came, you could tell that we were starting to lose our gas a little bit. And you know, they're a class team, aren't they? So you've got to be playing for 60 minutes if you're gonna have a chance of beating them. And it was we did ourselves proud to get that close to it, but it just wasn't to be at the end.
No, and quite easily the best supported team of the four that were there over the weekend. There was a great number of us there cheering the lads on.
Yeah, it was great. That's obviously always helps when you've got the crowd behind you as well to give you a little bit of a lift. So it was good to see so many of the fans that made the effort to come down, and it makes a difference. Especially obviously you look back at the pictures and you've got the crowd behind you in the pictures as well. So it was good. It was a really good way to end it. And I actually went down to MK last week to train with the Thunder, just because my oldest boy wasn't at basketball training, so I could get down there. And it's like I thought, actually, I stepped into the rink and it just brought back those memories of that last game, which was nice.
Oh, brilliant. So right back to the beginning then, you said you were 10 when you started. Where did you start and what got you into it?
So I was actually ill off school one day, and so I'd been skating before, like a few times down in Peterborough with my next door neighbour, and I was ill off school, and we went to the video shop, and I got Mighty Ducks out, the film, and I watched that, and I didn't know anything about ice hockey at the point, and I was just like, that seems pretty cool, and I spoke to my dad about whether I could potentially look into playing it, and he did a bit of research for me, figured out that I had to do some skating lessons before I could join a team. So I did the skating lessons. You had to get to grade 3, I think it was, before you could join a team. And so once I'd done that, I joined the Caribous, I think they were called, the Peterborough Caribous. It's the under 12s. I was hopeless at the time, obviously, just learning to skate properly and hold a stick at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think because I was 10 at the time, and they just looked at me because I was taller than everyone else. They were like, "Yeah, you can be a D man." I was like, I don't know what that means, but okay, yeah, that's fine. Just do that then. So yeah, like the first 2 years, I was pretty hopeless at it, and then at the end of my second year, started to get pretty decent. And I had to make a choice between football and ice hockey. I was a football goalie, and I was used to because I lived just outside of Peterborough in a little village, probably about 25 minutes away. So I was jumping off the ice, staying in my kit, getting unchanged in the car on the way back down to where I had football training, and then sometimes vice versa for games. And it was just getting a bit much, so I just had to make a choice. And I was like, do you know what? Ice hockey's different. It's not very well known. It's exciting. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go with that. So I stopped playing football, and then just did ice hockey full time.
Brilliant. And I'm not using Elite Prospects too much because it's burnt me bad in the past. But
mine won't be much on mine, I don't think, in terms of points wise.
Well, there's a couple of instances on there of you being called up for international level hockey.
Yeah, that's right. So I think it was under 18. So my second year of being eligible for the under 18s team. So I managed to make the team for that, which was great and like an amazing achievement. We went to Slovenia and did a tournament there. So the year when the first year, so my when I was meant to be a first year under 18s, that team went and they got the gold in the C group. So then the second year when I was a part of the team, we were in the B group, which was the one above. So it was pretty tough, and I think we came bottom. So we didn't win a medal or anything, but that was an amazing experience to go off to another country. And then same happened again with the under 20s. I made the team in my second year of being eligible. We went to Italy, and we did amazingly, to be honest with you. We were so close to being able to actually win it all and be promoted. And I think it was just, there was one other game where the scoreline was they managed to get more goals than what we had it over the game. And that pushed us down into third spot. So we won a bronze medal, which was such an achievement, which I've still got it hanging upstairs in the office, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that like they're the kind of memories that when you look back, you're thinking about hockey. They're the ones you kind of hold on to and cherish, and think how lucky you've been to have some amazing experiences like
Yeah, absolutely. Did you always wear 26 throughout your career? I find it quite funny now finding your career was 26 years long.
that. Do you know what? I think I did. So when I was a junior, I used to wear 6, which was my kind of lucky number. And when I made it into the senior team, Lewis Buckman, who was the captain at the time, he would always wear number 6. I think the jersey's been retired for him now.
Yeah.
So I was like, there was no chance I'm going to get number 6 and take it off the captain as a little kid coming through. So so my birthday is the 6th of February. So I just used those 2 numbers, but I preferred the look of 26. So I went with that. So yeah, so throughout my entire career with the Phantoms, I was 26. And then I went across to Romford and was 26 there. The only time where I've not been 26 actually was when this last stint at Chelmsford, when I came back, when Joe was the coach to start off with. Gary Brown was playing with us, and he had number 26. So he obviously stayed on and he kept the number. So I had to kind of like look around and search for new numbers that I quite liked, and I couldn't really find anything. I think I remember watching an NHL game and saw number 76. I thought, that looks all right. I'll just go with that. So I was 76 for a year, and then Gary left, and I took 26 back again.
So you spent the sort of the final decade of your career between Romford and Chelmsford.
Yeah.
Either end of the A12, and it's the Essex Derby this weekend on Sunday.
Oh, is it?
It is indeed, yeah.
Oh,
nice. Where did you feel most loved and appreciated, Romford or Chelmsford?
It's a difficult one to say, to be honest with you. Like, I felt appreciated and loved at both clubs, in just really different ways from both clubs. It's going to be hard for me to say one is above the other. I'll always remember though, like, so obviously I spent 3 years at Romford. When I first left Peterborough, I went to Romford for 3 years, and Clarkey because that was the year when I left that Romford's rink was being knocked down. And Clarkey contacted me to see if I wanted to come across to Chelmsford, and I was jumping at the opportunity. And I just remember some of the fans' comments from Chelmsford, kind of saying, "I was coming from the dark side," and like when you don't know a player or you've not played for you, you've got like that kind of stereotypical view of what they're like. So it's quite funny to start with some of the comments that were coming across. But once you start playing from and you pull the shirt on, it doesn't matter where you've come from. All you want to do is win for the team that you're playing for. And like that first year when Clarkey brought me across was probably my best year personally. You talk about being in the prime. I think that year was like when I was on top of my game and played the best. It was quite a struggle though, to be honest with you. So to start with, having played at Romford for 3 years, we didn't really have a system. We kind of just did what we wanted and went out and played and won.
Oh, wow.
And then when I went across to Chelmsford with Clarkey, he was really tactical and had like certain plays and certain breakouts, and certain players had to be in certain places. And the first month of it, I was like, bloody hell, I've got to try and retrain myself in terms of playing smart but making sure I'm in the right position at the right time. And so that was a bit of it took me kind of a good month to get my head back into what he wanted. But yeah, as soon as I'd done that, it was great. And I always remember I didn't have the best of starts either. I remember we were playing a challenge game, I think, against Sutton Sting, which up in Sheffield.
Yeah.
Matty Turner was on the bus, so I joined him once. I'd come across with Clarkey at Junction 14. Matty T on the bus had been telling the boys, because we'd played together at Romford, he was saying, yeah, he's going to be great. He's really good in terms of what he can bring for the team. And what he didn't realise is I just spent the last 7 days in Ibiza. And stepped off the plane that Friday night. Hadn't got any of my kit I had my kit but no sticks. So I was kind of then like guesstimating the size of my butt end, and my skate blades couldn't be sharpened and they had rust all over them. So I didn't put on a good performance that very first game, and the boys will always laugh about it in terms of how shocking I was. I couldn't even stop, let alone do anything else. So yeah, it wasn't a good first impression. I remember going to the car afterwards with Clarkey and sitting back in the car, and he was like, "Oh, how did you find that?" I was like, I had to apologise to him and say, look, I'm really sorry. I will get better. I've just got to flush this holiday out of my system, and I'll be back on it. So yeah, it took me about 3 weeks to kind of get my fitness back, and then I loved it. It was the best season of my career, I think.
So since you've stopped playing, have you taken up any other hobbies, or are you just actually enjoying the spare time that you have?
Yeah, it's just enjoying the spare time, to be honest with you. I don't really. I mean, apart from going to the gym, that was used to be my other hobby. Was just getting in and kind of de-stress a little bit in the gym. So I'm still trying to do that as much as I can. But in terms of sport, no, not really. I haven't really taken anything up. I'm pretty good at table tennis. I'm a PE teacher, so I used to play table tennis quite a lot at school with the kids. Yeah. So I remember in lockdown saying I was going to buy a table tennis table, and luckily it didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, at the moment, I haven't really got time to take up anything else.
No.
So yeah, just enjoying that kind of quiet weekends and having a bit of time back.
Yeah, and when the kids are that young, you don't get that time back again. It's only there the once.
I know it's scary how quickly they grow and change, isn't it? I mean, he's 16 months now, so it's I remember looking back and thinking, God, where's that time gone? How much he's changed and grown in even like 3 or 4 months. So I am glad that I get to spend that time with him now and just watch him grow up and stuff. And hopefully one day he might want to play, so that can kind of pull me back in a little bit.
Yeah. So I've got a few listener questions now, if that's all right with you, mate. Yeah,
of course it is, yeah.
We've got from Neil Baldock, who I sit quite close to at the rink. He's actually got 26 Smith on the back of his jersey.
Okay.
He's got, have you got a favourite moment from your career?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few that will always stick out in my memory. One, obviously, you mentioned in terms of making the team for your country. Then another one is when I was with Phantoms when we won the treble in the EPL.
Oh wow!
Which was I haven't followed it, but I'm not sure that's been done again by another team. So that year was amazing, and it was a great achievement to do that. And then the other one is when we won the quad with Chelmsford. So my first year when I came across to Chelmsford with Clarkey, and we won all 4 competitions. That was literally just such a good year in loads of ways, like being in a Chelmsford shirt and lifting the trophies. But then the locker room was good. The players we had were great. So yeah, that one probably sticks out. And it probably means more to me a little bit because I was probably more involved. Like when I was with the Phantoms, I wasn't one of the top 2 line players. I was kind of the third line D-man, just knowing my role, making sure I was a stay-at-home D-man. Whereas with the Clarkey year, I was kind of more influential in the team and had a bigger role to play with it. So that probably means the most for me.
Yeah, the pictures of the on-ice celebrations of all them trophies from that are absolutely brilliant.
Oh no, that was great. We used to do every trophy. We used to do something different. So I think we did curling with one of them, bowling with the trophy. Like we'd chuck it down the ice and people would jump out of the way and stuff. It was great. Yeah, there are memories that will last forever.
I've got a couple here that are actually from former teammates. Matty Turner, they're not that bad actually. Not that bad.
Okay.
Poor Chris Beckett got it a lot worse. Matt Turner's asked, what are your hockey superstitions or rituals, and do you miss them?
Well, I think Matty T knows how long this might take, so it depends if you want to have about an hour's worth of commentary on this. But I'm pretty superstitious. As I got older, certain ones got less and less. Like I used to have to eat the same thing before I went to hockey all the time, and then as I got older and time was less, I was like, it doesn't matter what I eat, I just chuck it in. But yeah, like getting to the rink, I'd get dressed in a certain way. I'd do certain things on the ice. I'd stand in certain positions, say certain things, and then unfortunately Matt Turner came along and made my kind of superstitions go through the roof because I ended up getting sucked into all of his. And he's the most ridiculous person when it comes to superstition. His start on a Tuesday night in training, and like same on Thursday, we've got a couple of superstitions that we're involved together on a Thursday night training, and then I get sucked into his on the ice as well. But there's one where with a Vicks bottle, which Matty Turner has to have a bottle of Vicks before he plays, and I have to look after it the whole time from it. So I'll take it home with me, bring it back to the rink, and then I have to throw it to him at a certain point, and it's just ridiculous, and it's some of the things you're doing. But Matty Turner just isn't one to talk about superstitions, that's for sure.
No, and clearly isn't enjoying retirement as much as you are. because he's come back.
Yeah, I saw that. I texted him as soon as I see that release. I texted him, and he texted back saying that he's decided just to help out the team a little bit and play a few games. And he's a hockey nerd, so he absolutely loves it. He probably sleeps in his skates and his gloves and helmet. Probably, he absolutely loves hockey. He's a hockey nerd for sure.
Yeah, he's joined us as injury cover. The injury roster is growing and growing, so it's certainly good to have a man of his experience back in as cover.
Oh yeah, he's a class player. Like, it's so hard to get the puck off him, and he's so smart with it. And he'll do well again, and he'll bring a lot to the team.
Yeah. And Rainer has asked about your energised stick.
Oh yeah, again, I'm blaming just the late night on this one. We were just training. I was distracted by something. I didn't always concentrate particularly well when I was at training. I just remember looking down at my stick and reading out what it said. I thought it said the stick was energized. I was like, yeah, I've got an energized stick, and it wasn't the right word. It was completely different. And he just looked at his and went, "That's not what it says." I was like, "Oh," and it's This is my dyslexia coming through.
Well, from the chat I had with him last week and some of the questions I got sent in for Kieran, I think he might just be like the banter king of the dressing room. Yeah,
he was a good guy to have in the dressing room. He was a good lad. And he was good in the car as well. He'd always make time for chat as well. He'd usually be the one keeping Joe awake, sit in the front, and me and Munsey would tuck up in the back and then speak for a bit and then have a little shut down. The old men in the back having a little nap.
The last question I've got here, I'm sure you were probably expecting it, and it's coming from a number of people: Harriet, Harry, Megan, Neil. There's a Drewsy's on there as well. Any chance of you coming out of retirement and playing for Chieftains again?
Look, I don't want to say that it's never going to happen. I do miss it. I miss playing. I was speaking to a few people about it. It's when you're walking out from the dressing room to start the game, you've got a full house and the lights are out and the atmosphere is great. And then the competition on the ice, I really kind of miss that element of things. So yeah, I don't want to ever say that I'm not. I'm not sure how soon it will be if I do. I also like this is the excuse I'm going to use to my wife, is that say like at some point of Jackson's I'm going to be old enough to know what's going on with ice hockey.
Yeah.
And I'd like him to see me playing, because obviously that can spark a bit of an interest in him as well. So yeah, I don't feel like I should stop playing just yet. It's just a bit of a rest maybe. Yeah, to give my body a bit of a rest for a year. Like I went on the ice on Wednesday last week, and I felt pretty good actually.
Yeah.
Apart from a bit of aching the next day, but like I haven't been on the ice for 7 months, so it was to be expected. So, but I still felt pretty good. So yeah, never say never.
Oh, I certainly think you've given enough of your life to the sport, and the time that you spent at Chelmsford. I know everyone was thrilled with your time there and was very sorry to see you retire, but glad to give you a good send off.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a good way to finish it, and the Stretton boys as well. To be fair, they were great as well. They joined into the L.A.H that they did for us. So it was nice to kind of get the appreciation from them boys, because I played a lot with those guys like Marzi and Ziggy, and then there's a few other boys that I've played against like throughout the entire senior hockey, so you know each other from speaking to each other on the ice. So it was nice to kind of get that send off, and obviously my two lads and my wife being there as well. It was great. So I had my little on the ice with me as well, and Aileen was playing peekaboo. So if you look at one of the pictures where we're in front of the crowd at the end, like Aileen and isn't looking at the camera, he's playing peekaboo with my little boy. So yeah, it was nice to have them there, and it was nice to kind of go out and making the final. And for me, it made it kind of almost a success to go out that way. Like we made it all the way as far as we could in the playoffs. So it was a nice send off, and yeah, glad it happened.
Yeah, and if the Chieftains hung jerseys up in the rafters, I'm sure that 26 Smith would be up there.
Yeah, they'll have to get it down again just in case maybe I'll come back.
I think everyone will hold you to that.
Yeah, I'll give it maybe another year, and then we'll see.
Excellent. Jules, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been really, really great to chat to you. I think I only met you once or twice, I think, when you were still playing, but it's you're a lovely fella. You gave your all for Chelmsford whilst you were there, and really glad that you're enjoying your retirement.
No, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. The podcasts have been great. I've listened to a few of them now, so they've been really good. So thanks for welcoming me onto it.
No, that's quite right. So, and this is quite all new to me. So I do listen back to them, and I do think they are getting better as well. So it's certainly nice to hear that feedback.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me on.
Nice one. Thank you very much, Jules.
All right, mate. Take care.
Thank you to Jules Smith for joining me on Zero Pucks Given. It's good to hear he's enjoying his retirement, but still got that fire in his belly to maybe come back and give it another go at some point. Thanks again to Chris Beckett for joining me. Thanks to Harriet Andrews for the Warriors match report. Thanks to all you guys for listening as well. Keep following, sharing, liking, doing all that you're doing. The sign girl at the rink as well. I keep seeing the sign up against the glass. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. And we did get a little mention over the tannoy this weekend as well. I think hopefully there should be something in the programme next week to try and spread the word a little bit more as well. But like I say, the listening figures that I'm getting are just absolutely brilliant, and I'm so thrilled that you're all enjoying it. So next week we have got another jam-packed episode. I'm going to be joined by TJ Fillery next week, and I'm also going to be joined by Mel from Aching Arms UK, which is one of the charities that we're doing our charity night for on December the 18th. So don't miss that. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next time on Zero Pucks Given. This podcast is hosted on Anchor by Spotify. It is available on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts and other podcast outlets. Follow us on social media, Zero Pucks Given Podcast on Instagram, Zero Pucks Pod on Twitter, Zero Pucks Given Podcast at gmail.com for email. The music in this podcast is taken from Spotify. I do not own the tracks. Subscribe on Spotify to get notifications about all new episodes.